Hi, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to do a quick review and reassembly of my Colt AR15. Before we get started, I want to give a special shout out to my friend D Fox. D Fox is a fellow Marylander and gun enthusiast. He lives on the Eastern Shore, and he drove all the way up to Central Maryland last week to go to the gun range with me. It was really cool. He brought an M1A and an M1 Garand, which I had never shot before, and yes, I'm absolutely in love with both of those guns. So thank you very much, D Fox, for coming out. Hope you had a good time and looking forward to doing it again. So let's go ahead and get started. And we'll just go ahead and start with the lower itself. This is the Colt AR15A3 lower. Bought this from a friend of mine. He put it together, so I don't know exactly all the components that are put into it, but we'll just do our best. It was painted in this hammered bronze color, which I'm not really a big fan of, but it is growing on me the longer I have the gun. I probably wouldn't have done it, but like I said, I bought this from somebody, so that's how it came. And this one has a Hogue pistol grip on it. This is the first Hogue that I've had a chance to use. It feels really good in the hand. It's nice and comfortable, but it is a lot harder than I thought it was. I thought they'd be a little bit softer of a grip, but it's quite a bit stiff. Not bad, does feel good in the hand, so not complaining there. Then we have a Fab Defense 5-position adjustable stock, which I think is fine. One of the problems that I would have with the adjustable stock is if you're in a stressful situation and your perfect shooting length is somewhere here in the middle, I think it would be hard to get there under a stressful situation. If you wanted to go all the way up or all the way back, I could see that happening because it's pretty easy, but I'm not a tactical guy, so maybe the tactical guys out there watching this are like, oh no, it's really simple. Just something I thought was problematic with the adjustable stocks. This is a GL mag. One of the things that I think is the coolest about this specific buttstock is it does have a place to hold your extra magazines. And everybody take it easy. I'm using a 10-round magazine just because it's easier to display. I know I live in Maryland, but we do have 30-round mags also. But it's just easier for me to do the display here. I think that's really cool that you can carry an extra mag. The 10-round mag usually does drop right out. The 30-round mags don't drop out on their own weight, at least when they're empty. But they're really easy to get in and out, so I think that's a pretty cool feature on this. Let's go ahead and check out the trigger. Now, I don't know what brand trigger is in here, but we'll go ahead and go through the cycle and see how it looks. Really, really easy trigger pull, not a whole lot of take up. And then the reset on it, not a whole lot of travel at all, and another really smooth trigger. So I like the trigger grip that's put down in here. I don't know which one it is, but it does feel really good. And I don't know what kind of bolt carrier group it is, but it's been pretty good. When I got it, I had a couple malfunctions, and I couldn't figure out what was going on, if it was the ammo or the magazine. I was having a couple failure to fires, like, you know, it'd strike the primer but wouldn't go off. Then I switched ammo, and it would work fine. When I finally took the gun apart, it was filthy. Like, it was really bad. My firing pin was black, and I thought it was black, kind of like the bolt carrier group here. And then I grabbed a rag and started wiping it off and realized, well, it's not black. So ever since I've cleaned it and lubricated, it's fired pretty good. It does look like the gas pins have been, gas ports have been pinned, so that's pretty cool. Then I already showed you the firing pin, pretty standard basic firing pin. Pretty standard bolt. The extractor works really good on this. The gas rings, I cleaned them up really good, and they seem like they're in pretty good condition. The extractor is still nice and firm. The retaining pin is still in good position. It's not warped or anything like that. And the cam pin looks like it's still in pretty good shape. So let's go ahead and put it back together. Okay, so you just take the bolt, push it back into the carrier. And then if you can look down inside, you'll see the hole open up. Now, what I've noticed is you can't just put it in any which way. The bolt usually has to be turned a specific direction for the cam pin to go back in. I'm going to try it and do it while looking through the camera. as opposed to, see right now the cam pin won't go back in, so let me go ahead and turn it to the other hole. It's a lot easier for me to do it. Sorry about that. I tend to look at the camera instead of looking at what I'm doing, so that's why I had to pause you for a second to get the cam pin in. But there's the cam pin is in. Go ahead and give it a little turn, and then slide your firing pin back in. There it looks like so. And you take your retaining pin, slide it back in, make sure it's in there and seated, and give it a function check, make sure it's still working right, and you're good to go. So let's move on to the next piece. This is a Raptor charging handle, and it's pretty standard, pretty basic. Works pretty good. I can get a nice firm grip on it. It sits underneath of my scope, like I imagine most people's do. So you got to reach underneath the scope to get it. But these little wings on the side really help out. It's nice and sturdy. It's not flimsy at all. So I like it. This is I've got 3 of these. I've got one Travis P11 sent me that I'm going to put on my AR10, and then I've got this one that goes in the Colt. Then I've got an extra one that I'll use for a future AR build. Now my free float rail, or handguard rather, is pretty standard, pretty basic. It's got your long Picatinny rail on the top, and your basic Picatinny rail on the bottom for my bipod. The one thing that is interesting is the first time I've had any experience with these little rubber grips. They feel really great in your hand when you're shooting the gun. Makes it super comfortable. I like it quite a bit. But back to a stressful situation again. When I move the gun around, a lot of times these little pegs will come out, and it happens. You push them right back in, and then they come right back out, so you can adjust them up and down depending on what kind of grip you want. But I would imagine that in a stressful situation, if you grab your gun and you feel something weird and that's sticking off, that could give you a problem. This isn't a home defense gun. This is strictly a range gun. There I go, looking at the camera instead of the thing. This is just a range gun, so I'm not really concerned about the self-defense aspect of that. So it feels good. I would suggest it. Maybe not for a self-defense gun, but for a good range gun or something like that. One of the things that I also noticed, I don't know if I'll be able to pick it up, but these little holes right here, and I'll show you the screws and the pegs. I had never taken one of these apart before. So I'm used to the standard hand grips that you can just spin the, I can't even think of the nut thing that's on there right now, and it takes them apart. When I took it apart, these little pegs started falling out, and I didn't know what to do, so it took me quite a while to figure out how to get them back in there. So I'll go ahead and show you that stuff now. These are the little pegs or retaining pins or whatever they're called that are in there, and there's 3 of them. Now what they do is you've got to put them in kind of like looking like that on the inside of the gun. So the raised part is pointing to the outside of the gun, and the unraised part is pointing to the rear of the gun, or the receiver end. That way, when you set them in, the screws can go down in there, and that'll hold the handguard onto the barrel. I didn't know how to do that, and when pieces started falling apart, falling out, it took me quite a while to figure it out, but once I got it figured out, it's pretty simple. I'll go ahead and show you real quick what it looks like inside. I don't know if I can find it on the camera. There it is right there. That's what they look like inside, with the fat piece pointed to the muzzle and the skinny piece pointed to the receiver. And then that's what it'll look like on the outside. Now, once again, I didn't build the gun, so I don't know what kind of barrel it is, but it does have a 1 in 9 twist. It's a heavy barrel, and a little stamp on there says Troy, so I don't know if that's the company that made it or what. Then we got your pretty basic flash hider on the end. Not bad. Still needs quite a bit of cleaning. Like I said, it was really dirty when I took the gun apart. Pretty standard upper, dust cover, forward assist. And then the scope is a Nikon, and then it says P223 on the front. The scope is pretty good. It's nice and clear. It's easy to adjust. One of the things that I found interesting is it's got this little honeycomb screen on the front. I haven't looked into why those are there, but it's pretty cool, and you don't see it when you look through the scope. I guess it's just there to protect the glass, maybe. It's just a pretty standard 3 by 9 by 40, but I like it. It's easy to use, it's easy to see through. So let's go ahead and put this thing back together, and I'll show you what it looks like. And there she is. It's my Colt AR15. Quick review and reassembly. Thanks for watching. Leave a comment in this comment section below, and I'll see you next time. Have a good day.